Hi book lovers, welcome back to my channel. It is coming up towards the end of October, which means the Goodreads Choice Awards is coming up soon. I don't know the exact date. No one from Goodreads said anything, but it should be around this time, end of October, early November. I made a predictions video last year around the same time, so hopefully it is coming up soon. But I did have a lot of fun doing it last year, making the predictions, and I love seeing everyone else's predictions, so I figured I had to do it again. And of course, as you can tell, I'm only doing the romance books because that is all I read. So this is my ranking slash voting system. The first round is the round that Goodreads chooses, like they choose the first 15 books. The second round, the semifinal, is the one that includes all the write-ins. I have a separate write-in section to show like all the possible write-ins that I think could make it. And then the final round narrows the books down to only 10 of them, and then the one winner. So here are all the books that I have chosen. Obviously not all of them are going to make it to any round at all, but I did choose all the popular books from 2021 as well as a popular book from December 2020. When I say popular books, I just mean I chose the books with a lot of ratings. Most of these have more than 10,000 ratings on Goodreads. Some of them are a little bit lower than that, but are still pretty close and pretty high up there. And they also do have another rule where the book has to have at least a 3.5 rating average. I would not be surprised if there ended up being a book with like 2,000-3,000 ratings on there, because Goodreads is just like that. Apparently the way that Goodreads votes, at least for the first round, like the books that they choose it's based off of not just the number of ratings or number of reviews, but also the number of people who have shelved the book onto their to-read list. I don't know why, that makes no sense to me, but that's just the way Goodreads is, and I don't see them changing anytime soon, if ever. It's pretty much a popularity contest, of course, to no one's surprise, and from what we learned last year, Book of the Month is a huge boost to a book's popularity. So I found all the romances slash women's fiction that Book of the Month featured this year, and I'm just gonna start putting them in the first round because I'm 99% sure that they will all show up, at least in the first round. So January was The Dating Plan by Sarah Desai. This is her second book, I believe. I actually just finished her first book, which was so much fun. I really liked it. So I'm really excited to read this one. I haven't yet, but it does have a decent amount of ratings, and again, Book of the Month chose it for January. For February, it was Honey Girl, and this one is technically on the Book of the Month site. It was listed as contemporary fiction and not romance like the rest of the books, but honestly, I would not be surprised to see it in the romance category. I would actually be really surprised if Goodreads didn't put it in the romance category, because we all know Goodreads doesn't know what a romance is, but it does have like a romance in this book. It's an FF romance. I thought the book was okay. I didn't love it, but it was still really popular this year. April was one of my favorites, People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, which I would have put in this list anyway. Emily Henry is huge, and I love this book too. It's a friends to lovers romance. So good. I just love this author's writing style and her humor, but this one for sure is going to show up. I actually thought last year Beach Read was going to win. That was my prediction, and I was wrong because JLA ended up winning. August was my girl Helen Huang with The Heart Principle, which I am ashamed I still haven't read yet. I've just been pushing it off because I don't want to get to it and then have it be over. But I love Helen. I loved her first two books, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna love this one too, even though I have heard that it was really different. So this one easily, I'm sure, is also gonna show up like People We Meet on Vacation. The September Book of the Month is another top favorite of mine. It's The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood, which has had so much hype and just 100% deserves it all. I love this book so much. And the final romance book from Book of the Month this year so far is The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling, which I didn't even realize was the October book. I did not get it. I might eventually get it because I did like the book. It was cute and fluffy, not amazing, but a fairly fun read. It's a witchy romance, perfect for October, and it got a really big boost, I guess, thanks to Book of the Month. So these are all the Book of the Month romance books. There are 6 of these, so I have 9 others to choose from for the first round. So I guess just going in order, we have The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas, which blew up because of TikTok. I mean, I think it was already fairly big before TikTok. Like, it had a good, decent amount of ratings, at least in the first half of the year. I read it and loved it. It's one of my favorites this year as well. I have lots of favorites here, which is really great, but this one for sure is gonna show up, even though it is an indie, the first indie in this list. For the first round, at least. I think last I checked on Goodreads, it had 70,000 ratings, which is amazing, especially for an indie book, for a debut too. But I loved it. I highly recommend it if you love slow burn romances. Don't Kiss the Bride by Carrie and Cole, I actually just recently finished reading. I listened to the audiobook and it was really great. I really liked it. I didn't know it came out this year, but it did, and it also has over 10,000 ratings, which was really great, but I doubt it'll make it in the first round. Jasmine Guillory, I feel like, usually shows up in the first round. This is her newest one, While We Were Dating. LJ Shen too, although sometimes I feel like she's a write-in, but this is her most popular one from this year, The Devil Wears Black. I do also have her other book, The Monster, that I just laughed so hard when I went on its Goodreads page because every single review was a 1 star. But I have not read either of these, so I couldn't say if they were good or not. I don't really plan to read them anyway. How to Fail at Flirting by Denise Williams, I just finished reading and also really enjoyed. This one was a really solid book. I don't know if it's popular enough to get into the first round, maybe, but Colleen Hoover, obviously, she always shows up, no matter what, even if her book is not a romance. But this one is Layla, her ghost paranormal book slash kind of romance. This one was the one book that I have in this list that came out back in December from last year, which does count. It's like November last year to November this year. Those are the eligible books. The Invitation by Keelan, also really popular. They have a lot of popular books. I don't know if it'll make it onto this list though. Shipped by Angie Hockman. I didn't realize how big this was on Goodreads, but it does have a decent amount of ratings. I did not read it. I had my eye on it, but never read it. There's The X Talk by Rachel Lynn Solomon, which might actually be able to make it onto this list. Let's see. I'll just put it here. It's a illustrated cover. It's published by Berkeley, so already it has a very decent chance to make it into the first round. I did like the book though. I gave it 4 stars. I did enjoy it. I have the new Sally Thorne Second First Impressions, which just barely scraped by with like a 3.6 or 3.7 average, which is so sad because I did love this book. I loved this book. I gave it 5 stars. I mean, yes, it's not like another hating game, but I still loved it. I love the main characters, I love the story. It's just so quirky and cute and adorable and very, very wholesome. But this one has lots of ratings as well, 30K I think. Much Ado About You by Samantha Young, which has about 10,000 ratings, which is why I included it, but I doubt it'll make it onto the list. But JLA 100% is coming here onto the first round. Crown of Gilded Bones, which is book 3 in her Blood and Ash series. This one, I do have her other one, which is A Shadow in the Ember. I think they allow 2 books by the same author onto a round, but I'm just gonna only include Crown of Gilded Bones. That one for sure is gonna make it. I mean, last year from Blood and Ash was the winner, the entire category winner. So I have 12 books so far and I still have so many books. Okay, I'm gonna have to make some adjustments later, but Neon Gods for sure showing up in the first round. This one I still haven't finished, halfway through, waiting for my audio loan because that's pretty much the only way I'm going to finish the book. It's a modern day contemporary retelling of Hades and Persephone. Katie Rauter is huge. This book especially is huge. Literally everyone I knew and saw talked about this book, and it does have a lot of ratings on Goodreads. Twisted Love also blew up, or at least Anna Huang blew up this year, which was really nice to see. But I'm not sure Twisted Love would make it onto the first round. Christina Lauren. I feel like they always show up in the first round. I mean, they're always popular. People always love them. This one is The Soulmate Equation, which is not one of my favorites from them. I thought it was just an okay book. One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. Definitely gonna show up in this first round, and that was my 15th book. So let's see. I do think It Happened One Summer is gonna show up. Let's see. Who should I take out to replace this? I'll take out The X Talk. The Casanova by T.L. Swan, which was an okay read for me. It's pretty popular. The author and the series is really popular, but I doubt it'll show up. Isn't It Romantic by Lisa K. Adams, maybe. Lisa Kleypas. I feel like Devil in Disguise might be the only historical romance that might have a chance. They rarely ever have historical romances make it onto any of these rounds, which is such a shame. Like sometimes one of them sneaks in there. If it's not Lisa Kleypas, it could be Sarah McLean or Tessa Dare. Twisted Games also, like what I said for Twisted Love. The Legacy by Elle Kennedy. This one, I mean, everyone loves Elle Kennedy. I will say not a lot of people loved The Legacy. I liked it, I didn't love it, but it was still a good read. But I don't know if it would be enough to make it into the first round. Okay, I put Death here because it was one of my most anticipated books of the year, and I'm sure it's a lot of people's as well. And I think at least one, if not more, of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse books has made it into the Goodreads Choice Awards nominations, probably as a write-in. So I wanted to just include Death there, but I mean, it's not even out yet. It's out on November 9th. I did get the ARC, which I am so excited about, but I haven't started it yet. There's The Wedding Game by Megan Quinn, which was a cute read, but I mean, it was popular, but not popular enough. And then A Shadow and the Emperor, which I talked about. Oh my gosh, yes. Talia Hibbert, probably making it onto this list. She usually does, at least her Brown Sister series has. So this one is the third book, Act Your Age, Eve Brown, which I still haven't read yet, but I will eventually get to. I have Float Plan by Trish Doller, which is more women's fiction, but I wouldn't be surprised if it made it onto the list anyway. All Roads Lead Here by Marina Zapata. This one I am fairly sure is gonna be a write-in. MZ usually ends up being written in. There's Just Last Night by Barry McFarlane, which was quite the depressing read. It is 100% women's fiction though, but could show up just because it's women's fiction. Twice Shy by Sarah Hogel, maybe actually, because I think You Deserve Each Other made it last year. So Twice Shy could. And the last one I have is Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez, because I think she also made it last year with the Happy Ever After playlist. Alright, I need to choose something to take out. Life's Too Short does have more ratings than Twice Shy. I'm just gonna take out While We Were Dating by Jasmine Guillory, because this one is actually the lowest number of ratings out of all the books. So this is my first round, all 15 books that I think Goodreads would probably end up choosing for this first round. And then we have the write-ins. This is not like a round or anything, but there are quite a few that I think have a really good chance of being written in. Okay, I just completely skipped over these 3 books for some reason. I don't think they'd end up in the first round anyway. There's Tristix Venom by Penelope Douglas. Sometimes she does end up being written in. I love her books, as you might know, but this one probably won't make it into any of the rounds, honestly, because it is like fairly low in terms of the ratings. And then there's Real by Kennedy Ryan, which I love this year, another top favorite. And The Mixtape by Bernice C. Cherry. This one is a Montlake romance, a Montlake release, which a lot of their books end up being fairly popular, but probably not enough to make it in the first round. So for my write-ins, I honestly feel like I would want Real to be written in. This is like my wish. It probably won't, but I'll still hold on to hope that people would vote for Real because it's such an amazing read. I love Kennedy Ryan so much. Her writing is just incredible and blows my mind. Lisa Kleypas. I feel like one historical romance has to be written in, right? Like, if there wasn't one in the first round, there has to be one written in. I thought about the legacy, but honestly, I don't think there were many people happy enough with this book to write it in. All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. Yes, for sure. She has so many fans and people love this book so much. I mean, I really liked it too. And I think one more book could be a possible write-in, Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez, mainly because she has a really big fan base. People who love her love her. And I mean, I like this book. I give it 4 stars, I think. I'm in her Facebook group, and she has those followers who just adore her and would definitely write that in. So now I have to choose my semifinal round, round 2, out of all of these 19 books. And I think the semifinal is also another 15, so this is gonna be very, very hard. People We Met on Vacation, definitely. The Heart Principle, yes. Love Hypothesis, for sure. Spanish Love Deception. I mean, these were huge books from this year. Probably Layla, just because it's Colleen Hoover, even though I wouldn't say this is that popular of a Colleen Hoover book. JLA would definitely make it, as well as Neon Gods, mainly because of how talked about they are. And I want to say Casey McQuiston, One Last Stop, would make it too. I'm gonna include It Happened One Summer, Eve Brown, Mariana for sure, All Roads Lead Here. I want to include Lisa Kleypas just because it's Lisa Kleypas. And I loved Devil in Disguise so much. It's another top favorite. I loved Kier and Merritt. They were wonderful together. Life's Too Short, probably. And now I have to choose 2 more books. So probably Christina Lauren. They usually have a chance. And maybe Honey Girl, just because I know a lot of people love this book. A lot of people have read it. And it's definitely a book that has reached outside of just the romance community too. So a bigger readership. So those are my 15 books. Honestly, I'm not even sure if there's 15 books in the semifinal, but let's just pretend there are. And then we have the final round where I have to narrow these 15 books down to 10, which is so freaking hard. But I mean, the obvious ones, I feel like, you know, would definitely make it. These 3, People We Meet on Vacation, The Love Hypothesis, Heart Principle, The Spanish Love Deception, Crown of Gilded Bones. I don't know about Layla, honestly. I feel like a lot of people did read it, but did they love it? I feel like no. Neon Gods, yes, I know a lot of people love this book. And then One Last Stop. It Happened One Summer. I don't know if I said it, but I also love this one. It was amazing. One of my favorites from Tessa Bailey. And then Eve Brown, definitely. I know a lot of people love Talia in the series. I guess I have to choose one more, so I will just go with Mariana because we need some indie romance love here. We never really see a lot of indie books in the Goodreads Choice Awards nominations. Usually they end up being a write-in, and some of them do go pretty far. All Roads Lead Here and The Spanish Love Deception are the only indies in this list. I think I have 10. Yes, I have 10. But then again, Spanish Love Deception did get picked up by a publisher, so it's coming out again next year. I'm not sure if I should still count it as an indie, but it did release as an indie this year, so it might as well. 2 indies and 8 traditionally published books, although one of them is a small publisher, Crown of Gilded Bones, but still, as you can see, most of these are illustrated covers. Only 2 are concept ones, All Roads Lead Here and Neon Gods, and no hot shirtless men. This is my final round. I feel like, you know, all of these have a pretty good chance of making it onto the final round just because they're so popular. Lots of beloved authors, lots of popular authors. I'm torn between 2 for the winner, 2 of the most popular books this year. The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood and The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas, which are both actually debut authors, debut releases, which is incredible. These are these authors' first books and they just blew up and so many people love them. I think they're fairly close in number of ratings on Goodreads. The Love Hypothesis has 65 and The Spanish Love Deception has 70. Which honestly I'm impressed with. Like, the indie book beat out the traditionally published, but then again, The Spanish Love Deception came out way earlier. But still, both of them for debuts having over 60,000 ratings is incredible. It's also really hard to choose for me because I loved both of these books so much. They were both 5-star reads. But I guess if I had to choose one that would be the number 1 winner, oh god, this is so hard, but I would probably choose The Love Hypothesis just because it only came out, what, like 2 months ago, and it's already just shot its way up to the top. So many people have read it, so many people have loved it. I feel like it could be the #1 winner for the romance category. I mean, I could be wrong. I was wrong last year, even though I was so sure. Let me know what you guys think of my little voting ranking thing. Who do you think is going to win this year? Or maybe even who are you planning to vote for? Do you think these books deserve the hype? Do you think they don't? Just let me know your overall thoughts. I'm sure it'll be really fun to see everyone's predictions. If you haven't read any of these really popular romance books, links to them will be down in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it, and I'm kind of already looking forward to next year's. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!